Clocks have gone back this morning. Why do we mess around with time? To keep us on the back foot, to keep us deregulated, to keep the body running on an unnatural, asymmetric rhythm that doesn't suit us. It's not natural. And it messes with our minds and we don't understand why. It's simply because we allow other people to control our time. To be self-sovereign, the human being, our God-given right, is to be self-sovereign. Yeah, it's absolutely fundamental to us how we live. So we decide. Each individual must decide for themselves what is their morality, what is their honor code, what is the basis of their morality. Each person must decide individually. Do what thou wilt shall be the whole of the law. But it is essential that we understand the engineering of the Reynolds number. Yeah? Essential. Because then you can see that Christ's parables, Christ's message, Christ's story, Christ's deeds, what he does and says are the lessons that we need to apply to our own lives. And we come up with a single morality for the whole planet then. That each person is following the honor code of Jesus Christ as God, taking the place. Christ speaks what God wants us to say. He is God in that context. Now, I'm saying this under Acts 3:22-23 and Rev 13:18. I believe what I'm saying is what God wants you to hear, because I'm saying follow what God said 2,000 years ago. But with the detail of the Reynolds number engineering now and the proof that science is lying to you. Amazing. I couldn't sleep last night because I had the image of the clockwork mechanism in my mind. And it's so fucking simple. So I'll include this now in the lecture. Perhaps we can start here. Bending force requires straight line pressure. So if I have a beam, right, my nose is a beam, and I want to bend it, it's important that the pressure is applied in a straight line, because if it isn't, it does that. Yeah? And it will just bend. And the thing I'm trying to bend won't bend. And so therefore I've got structural engineering. So if I'm a beam, my nose is a beam and I'm point load, yeah, what bends? Yeah, does the load get resisted here, supported by the structure, or does the structure bend? And so the straight line at nth scale inside the spherical capillary reaction of surface tension of hydrogen binding energy breaks down into two straight lines. One becomes two. You see, position one, position two. Two becomes two. Position two, the straight line becomes two. So we're still pressing now. So what we've got is bending force from motion. Yeah. So the bending is breaking down, but because it's broken down into two, suddenly it has strength. It can still bend. It's still, because it's bending, it's still pushing. Although this is bending, the bending has the compressive strength of the wave itself. And so the bending force is pushing now. Pure force, it does the pushing of the stretching of the material from which it's made. And so as the wave breaks, the bending analogy of the straight line breaks from one straight line into two straight lines. The two straight lines are linked together with a ratio, pi tensor ratio, an energy ratio of elastic plastic modulus to the center of the shear force flow sphere, which is taking the bending, so that the hemisphere is giving the bending force, is pushing, but in a really weird way, so that it's breaking as a wave. Two lines, it's pushing in two places, creating another centroid of bending at the center of shear force flow. And now, when you get to position two, the analogy breaks down. You can't use the lever arm analogy anymore. So you have to remove it, and it snaps into the counter snap position. And so the radius of the shear force flow, the base radius, instead of going to there, position 2, goes to position there, straight up and down, position I2, orthogonal squared. It's denting into the lens at the base. It's creating three-dimensional base. It's created there first from the counter snap action. And so let's assume, rest time, we go to position 2, and we've built the equilateral triangle. Now, a strong strength equilateral triangle. But it has no actual strength. It's only from motion, so it can't stay there. That's spatial and temporal coherence expressed as an equilateral triangle. It can't stay there. But it can stay there. It maintains its momentum because from position 2 on the shear force wheel, the arm snaps back. The position where it was goes to the center line, so now you've got a straight line up and down. But the force, the potential force, is in the plus sector. Look, and the potential force of the highest potential state of stretching is now in the plus minus section, the bottom quadrant. And so they've overlapped each other. And because the arms have overlapped, the bending force analogy arms, the lever arms have overlapped each other, there's twisting force. And now you can see the twisting force created in position 3. But that doesn't happen. The twisting force is translated back to the hemisphere. The only real thing that can take any force, actually is a real thing that takes force, is the hemisphere of single temperature, the little bowl of ice, and that rotates with the twisting force at the center. That causes all the action as it is. And so what I said, it's the breaking down of the analogy that's so beautiful, that the lever arm takes us so far, we get to position 2, now it breaks down, but we see the counter snap action as it breaks down. You go to the straight line up and down, snap 1, then that line snaps up to position 4, I've marked it as, but it snaps up into the plus quadrant, snaps up, and the position, pin 3, the pin 3 that is created from the pins 1 and 2 at the top, stays where it is, with its own density, specific gravity, relative to the actual centroid of the whole system at the center. But because the hemisphere is twisting, and it's doing work, some of it's hotter, some of it's colder, so it twists and runs at a tilted angle. And it's that tilted angle that actually pushes up all the time, causing the bending force in the first place. And there you have a recursive system of temperature breaking down using the analogy of the lever arm as it breaks into the 3. And I'll share the ancient pre-Vitruvian man drawing that I came across, which shows exactly that shape of the elastic modulus being created. And so that elastic modulus, because the base was created orthogonally, as the disk, as a base, that's a sphere. So it's a sphere. So we've discovered that and logic tells us that the geometry of 2 forces that contains acceleration must create 3 dimensions, and it does. 3 dimensions of light. So the shear force flow, the 3-pronged thing, that's everywhere. That effect is now at the dot point surface of the sphere is that stretching force, and so it accelerates at meters per second squared, infinite acceleration, with a limit, c meters per second of thought when you see this, and then at the cosmic microwave background. Then that twisting force is created, and it pushes at the center of the ice, the North Pole, which should be at the center of the planet, pushes on the ice of the 0 temperature relative to the planet, and the system of light production is demonstrated through the elastic of the planet when you place the planet at the center of the universe. So it's the breaking down of the bending analogy into ring tension, the ring tension causing twisting, and the twisting causing rotation, and the rotation causing bending, that creates mass from quantum gravity. And so surely that should be enough, so that we can now go back to where I started, and you control your time. Self-sovereign time, seasonal, natural. We will all follow the same obvious clues that nature gives us. Yeah. Remember, you are loved by God. Grasp this information, really think about it, and let's fucking go. The future's begun. We only have till December. We need to fix the planet so that when Atlas comes towards us, we'll put it into orbit instead of it smashing into us. You choose. Follow the Rebel King.